Okay. Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So, in today's session, we'll be discussing about the week 10 concept. Okay. That is basically exception handling and oops concept.
Sorry to interfere, sir. But
Yes.
can you please tell me what is the difference between reverse and reversed?
Reverse and reverse.
Yes, sir.
So, we use reverse function to reverse the list after sorting, right?
Yes, sir. It will reverse in place. What about reversed, sir? I don't understand that. What is difference in them?
Uh, so, reverse basically both thing the same only, no? I guess a reverse function will only modify the original list directly. It will reverse the entire list directly. But reverse function will what it stores the that reverse it into a new list. Let's see how it works. Let me share. We'll try it out. Is my screen visible?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, I'm sharing this one. What happened? I guess now it's visible, right?
Yes, sir. Jupiter.
Yeah. So if I create one list, let's say for example, any list here, and let's say we have four, then we have five, six, seven, one, nine, like that, right? If I want to reverse the list, then how we can do that? Reverse function here.
List
So
one dot reverse.
yeah, so list one dot reverse here, right? So if I simply print
List
list
one.
one, so you can see it is in the reverse thing, right? But can we store this into a new list? Let's see. Can we
Yes,
do
sir. We
that?
can. Why not?
No, I guess it's reverse the original list here. But if I use reverse list of one, right? Reverse, then list of one, then I guess we can store it. No, it's a
We
iterable
have to write list, sir. List then inside reversed list one. List then reversed one. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is the case here. So if you want to store that reverse as a new variable, so I guess reverse function will not be used for that. Then you have to use reverse function like that. Okay.
Sir, why none came in first?
Why?
None came when you do before list 2 is equal to reverse list 1 dot reverse.
So we cannot store that. So actually what happens, it got updated. So list one got updated here in the reverse direction by using a reverse function here. Okay. So if I execute list one now, you can see like that. But if I simply say list one dot reverse, it is going to reverse the entire list here. Okay, so we cannot store this one. Its original list is already getting reversed. Also, I guess we cannot use this two tuple here. Can we reverse the tuple? Let's see. If I use this one now, let's try to reverse this one. Tuple object has no attribute reverse, so no. But if I use this to create the tuple, so can we do that here? If instead of this one, if I say simply list two, yeah. So we can store that in different variables. So whenever you want to store the output in different variables, in that case you can go for this reverse function. Only if you want to reverse the list, entire list, Okay, in place we can say reverse, then you can go for a reverse function here. Otherwise, reverse is used to store the that reverse list in a different variable. Okay, that's the difference here. I guess also we cannot use this reverse function to tuple as well. Okay, in string we can in string or tuple we cannot do that, right? Only it's applicable to list only. But here
What
reverse we can do that.
what you mean, sir?
So if you look at here, this is basically a tuple, right?
Yes, sir.
So now we cannot apply a list one dot reverse here. So that reverse function is applicable to list only. But we can apply
Similar to
that.
sort.
Yeah, sort. Yeah, we can say sort. Okay. So that's the difference here, reverse and reverse. So whenever you want to store the reverse list in some particular variable, you have to go for a reverse function here. Okay.
And reverse do work for tuple set it's etc. Instead of
Reverse.
list inside reversed, we can write tuple then reversed list one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
List
sir.
one. So that reverse function is only applicable to list, but this reverse is applicable to tuple, list, I guess any iterable. So string also, I guess it is possible. Let's try to do with the string. Python here, in str or what we have to use. I don't think we can do that. Okay, but if I want to store this in the format of tuple or list, I can do that like that, right? So reverse function, we can the input must be any iterable object, either list or string or tuple here. Okay, that is what a reverse function is. Reverse is only used for a list here, and it happens what it reverse the original list here. If I simply say list one dot reverse, so it will not work because it is not the list here, right? It will throw an error. Only we can apply this function only to a list. Okay. I hope this is clear now.
Can we use it in dictionary?
Dictionary,
Reversed
no, 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 no. Dictionary is not a iterable object here, right?
means
So
we have to apply lambda function in case of dictionary.
lambda function, yeah, or you can, if you want to form the list of the keys, then in that case you can go. But why you want to reverse the dictionary here, right? Anyway, we can access the element via key only, right? So no. Okay. So I hope reverse and reverse is clear now.
Yes,
Reverse
sir.
is only used for a list. Reverse we can use for any iterable object. And if you want to store that reverse thing in some particular variable, in that case we have to go for reversed only. Okay. Great. So how many students we have? 30. So we'll be discussing. Yes.
Can I ask my doubt of
Hi.
PPA
From which week?
week 8?
Yeah, week 8. Okay, let me discuss this thing first, then we can take the doubts. Okay. Okay, so here first we'll discuss about what is exception handling in Python, right? So we have discussed this thing in detail. Let's say, for example, we have any variable. Let's say a equals to, we have some, we'll take some input value, okay, integer input like this, and similarly we'll take b as well, okay. Now what we want, we will do some division here. C equals to a divided by b, and now I want to print c here, right? If I execute this one, so I will put 8 first 23 and then I will put 4. It will work perfectly fine. Okay. Now again I am going to execute that one 23 again, but now I will put the value of b as 0. So 23 divided by 0. So what should be the output?
Zero error.
Error.
What happened? It will give us 0 division something error like that. So if I execute 23 and now 0, let's see what happens. It is giving us an error, zero division error, right? Division by zero, like that. Now, there might be possibility that in the code we don't have any syntactical error, but because of user input, it will cause some error here, right? Also, it may possible that this code will work same for all the cases, but maybe for corner cases it will throw some particular error, right? So how to handle such particular cases here? For that purpose, we use something called exception handling here, right? Now, if you look at here this thing, right? Now, how to avoid this particular thing? So here we know that we will get this particular thing. So user should be able to know that okay, the second value should not be equals to zero here, right? So how we can do that? We have to print the custom message for this particular error. In that case, what we can go, we can use try except block here. So what is that? You can see we have to put try, and whatever the code we are going to write it down here so that we can put inside the try block here. So let me put inside the try block here. Okay. And here we can put inside the try block here. And now what we are saying except, right? So if everything works fine here, that's it. If anything throws an error in this particular 4 lines, so it will throw an exception here. What is except thing here? Except here you can see we want to show some particular error here. Let's say for example, which error it will cause, zero exceptional, right? Zero division error. So I will put like that, zero division error. It means what? If this error occur inside the code, it should throw some custom message here. That is basically print. We can say that we cannot divide by zero or any message. We cannot divide by zero. Please change the number. Please change the second number here. This is what we can say, right? Now let's see. If I again try to execute this one, 23. Now second number is basically my zero. That is going to throw an this one. Okay, like that. Okay, so this is what try exception block will do. Okay, first it will check whether do we have any error in this particular code in the try block. If it throws some particular error, then what are the error we have specified here? If that error occur inside the code, it will bring this particular custom message here. If we have something new error which is not present inside the except block here, then it will throw that particular things. Let's say for example, I will say simply print D here. Now you can see we don't have D inside the code, so we have not defined the D. So if I execute this one, let's try to run the code. You can see you are going to get an error. That is basically what? Name error here, right? So D is not defined here. Now again, we can put one more except here. Let's say for example, to handle such case, we can also put except like this, and that is basically what we have, a name error, right? So make sure you write the same thing here and capital name error like that, and then we can put the print that variable is not defined like that. So simple concept of try and except block here, right? If you come across, if you think okay, user might use this type of input and it will show some error, because there is nothing wrong with this particular code here, right? It will work perfectly, but because of some user input, or if I say if we didn't specify any variable, if it will throw some error, then in that case what we need to do, we can put this entire code inside the try block, and then we can write some except a block here, so that particular error name, and if you want to print a custom message for that particular error, then we can go for this except block here, and we can have multiple except block like this. Okay, this is what try and except thing, exceptional handling here. Okay, anyone, any doubt what we have discussed up till now?
Sir, what that try and accept variable or something? What is the name of them?
This is a keyword here, you can see. Okay, so
and meaning is same as English language.
Yes. So first it will try this particular block. If any error come in this particular inside this block, then it will throw this particular message here based on this particular error here, like that. If it works perfectly, then that's it. It will give the required output here. So if I say simply C here, so 23 divided by 3, so that is giving me output. But if I say 23 divided by 0, it will give this particular error. So our program will throw this error, but a custom message will be like that. So print we cannot divide by 0, change the second number like that. So whatever the message you want to show to the user, that you can put it here like that. Okay, this is what try except block here. So exception handling we can say. Okay.
Sir, we
So
have to remember all the error names.
yeah, so if you think what are the possible errors can be possible, like user defined, or let's say for example any users put some incorrect input. So here we have just said about 0, but any user can put any string also here inside the A, but we are taking only integer as an input here, right? So if I try to execute this one, again. So here we
Attribute
are,
error, sir. Can we write it also?
not attribute error, it's a value error. If we say it is an integer value, but we are putting a string value here, it's a value error, right? So it should throw that particular error.
Sir, instead of a is equal to int, we can directly take input. Then it may be attribute error.
Okay, if you just take input, that is basically a string here, right? So that is syntactical error here, right? Logical issue here, because we want to perform a division operator and we are taking string as the input, right?
Sir, we need to remember name of error and why they occur also.
See, if you know, okay, this type of error can exist, then we can put inside the except block like that. But there are many errors, around 20-30 errors are there like that which can occur, right? But it is not possible for us to figure it out what are the possible errors can occur, right? So there is something called exception also as E. Then we can put that entire error name as here. Okay, so we'll discuss that. But
Sir,
yes.
so if we give a as a string, then what error it will give?
Now here you can see if you put a as a string value here, then there is a logical error inside our code here, right? We are
Yes,
saying
sir.
there is nothing wrong inside our code. Our code will work
Yes.
perfectly fine. But because of some
Yes.
user input or some file is not there, because of that is throwing an error. In that case, we can go for try except block. But if you just
So
say
it will
here,
return type error.
yeah, it will give type error, I guess. Yeah, we'll see
Yes.
what happens. Yeah, this is here we can execute now. Now, if I try to execute this one, yeah, we'll see. Just a second, let me open a different. Just a minute. Okay, fine. Let's see now. Yeah, is this visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you can see we are taking A as a string as the input, then B is basically integer, right? So let's see what happens. So here, if I put, it will work. It will not throw an error, but here you can see. So this will give us what type error here, unsupported operator, right? So this is the issue here. Type error occurs then because of the input, right? We have taken, but this is a logical error here, right? As a programmer, I will not take string as an input if I want to perform the division here, right? So here I will simply take integer as an input. And this type error can also occur. Okay, so there might be possibility in some code, right? So it might occur. So in that case also we can put this type error, then we can see please check your input, like that also we can put the message, right? So there are different errors that may occur, and if we come across such error, we can put that except that particular error, and we can print some custom message here. Okay,
तो अब इसको
now
आने में टाइम है तो सुन लो ना.
okay, yeah. So now see here, let's say for example we don't know what type of error will come, right? So in that case, what we'll do, we'll simply put except, that's it. Okay, then we'll put except, and then we can say something went wrong. So we can put any message here, something went wrong. Okay, something went wrong. Now here user is not aware about what is the error here. Okay, so if I say here variable not defined, zero division, let's go with what value here, error in this case. So we'll, what happened here, line number 2 bracket is missing. So here I will put what 23, and here I will put, let's say for example, any string value here. In that case, you can see that error is not there, right? Value error. So because of that, it will throw this particular except block, print something went wrong. But if you want to see what is that error here, right? This is one of the way, if you don't want users to know that what error will occur, something went wrong, right? But if you want to see that error, then we can put that as exception as E, and you can put that particular message E here. Whatever the error it comes, it will throw that particular error. Now let's see same thing, 23 then in string as an input. Then we can say invalid literal for integer with base 10, like that. So whatever the error occurs because of this input, now this will be showing here like that. Okay, so if you come across,
Sorry, sir, I don't understand the last line. What you do?
Okay, so here if we know this type of error can occur,
Print the above that.
yeah, I will discuss. So if you know, okay, this type of error can occur by user input, or let's say for example, if the file is not present, then file not found error will be showing. If any variable is not defined, then name error will show. But we don't know what type of error will occur. Okay, in that case, what you can do, you can simply put except and exception as E. Okay, then whatever the error will occur because of the input we have given or because of the code, so that will be printed in this particular block here. If any of this error is not present, if third error is there which is not listed in the above except block, then it will throw this particular error here. So you can put any custom message. Error is basically, right? So you can put error is basically a E here. So we are storing that error in E, and we are printing that error like that. Should be comma. So 23 then anything here. So you can see that error is basically this one. Okay. So if you know, okay, this type of error can occur, then we can put inside the except block, and we can tell the users, okay, you have given the input, this is not allowed. Okay, like that. Or let's say for example, if I put any file here, okay. So here we have f equals to open in bracket. If I put any file is present here, appdev.csv. Okay. So let's say for example, here we have one file name abc.txt. We don't have any file like that. Let's say we are opening read mode here, right? Like that. Now what will happen here? So let's see 23, then 3. And you can see there is no such file in directory. Okay, this error occur here, right? So now I want to show some custom message for this particular error here, right? In that case, what I can do, I can say that invalid file, or file does not exist. So if we want to put a custom message, in that case you can put one more except block here, right? Like that, and this will be what? So this error will be what? Let's see here what happens. That is basically what? File not found error. Okay, so if this error occurs, then we can put like message here like this. Okay, so if you know, okay, this type of error can occur, and if you want to show a message to a user like this, in that case you can use this except and that particular error name, and you can put the custom message here. Let's say for example, invalid file name. Invalid file name here like that. Okay, so now you can see 23 3 now invalid file name occur here. But if in such cases, let's say for example, you don't know which type of error can occur because there are many errors, type of errors in the Python, right? So in that case, you can simply go with the except block here. That's it. Except, you can put a custom message, or if you want an error, what error occurs, so you can put exception as E. Then we can put simply error message here, that is E here. So any error which is not present inside this except block or this block or this blocks, if any error occur out of these three, then it will print respect to print message. But if any error occurs outside this particular three errors, then it will print this particular exception. We can say error message here. Okay, this is what we can say here. So name error, division error, file error we have covered, right, like that. Is that clear, the working of this exception?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir.
Okay.
Sir, but I have a doubt. F is not used anywhere. It is a only variable. Why it is not returning 7.666 and so on?
Because it is throwing an error at this particular point. So our code didn't get executed these two lines. This executed, then this executed, and line number 3 throws an error here. That's it. You can see here like that. Okay. Then after this line number 3, it throws an error. So which type of error is this one? File not found error. Then it will throw this particular custom message here. If I put this here,
But
like
we
this,
don't write anything such as break or continue.
no, at this particular line number 3 here, there is error. Then that's why it throws this particular message. Now, if I simply remove this line here from here to here, now let's see what happens. 23 3. Now it is giving the output. It executed these lines, and then at the last, you can see we reach this particular line here, and now it throws an error here. Okay.
Sir, my doubt is that we don't use break or continue, then why it stop working and not move next line?
No. See, first this executed, then this executed. Line number 3 throws an error. So that's it. If something went wrong at the line number 3, then line 4 and line 5 will not execute, right? You can see here like that. It throws
It
an
is
error.
in general or only for file case?
In general, we can say.
Sir, may I explain?
Yes.
So, Manjit, Python is interpreted language. It is interpreted line by line. So, as soon as the Python finds any error, it will stop execution and throws the error.
Yeah. So first line executed, but line number 2 there was an error. So that's it. After it doesn't matter how many lines we are, even if that is executable, it will not execute because at line number 3 we have an error like that. So this will execute line by line.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this is regarding the try and except block here. So if we know, okay, this type of error can occur, then we can print a custom message. But if you are not sure about the type of error, then in that case, we can simply use this exception as E and we can print that particular error. You can also put some custom message, something went wrong or invalid case, anything here. Okay. So this is the concept of exception handling here. That's it. Okay. We can also put okay, so let's say for example here we have a file, we have opened the file, right? Let me again, yeah. But now we need to close this particular file here. So here the file does not exist, any file present here in the folder, yeah, appdev.csv. Now I will go with the appdev.csv here. Right now, see, everything works fine here, but we have opened this file, but we have not closed the file here, right? So what to do in that such cases? Here it will not throw any error, okay, because here the file is open while running this code and it is still open here at the backend, right? But we want to close this particular file, right? So we can put this inside here, f.close here like that, right? This is fine. The file will get closed. But what if we have executed this line, we have executed this lines, we have executed this line as well. But at this particular line, something went wrong, or we can say some error happened. It means what? This two line will not get executed, right? So this will not get executed if any error occurs in above lines here. So what to do in such cases? We want to execute particular thing even if the code works perfectly fine or even if throws an error, right? This is our requirement is this clear, like what I said?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
if you want to execute something, even if error occurs or if error didn't occur, then what to do in that particular case? Because I want to close this particular file, even if the error occurs at this line or any line, or even if there is no error, still I want to close this particular file. In that case, I want to execute this line. So what I will do, I will use finally block here. So that is basically at the last finally here, and I will put f.close here. So how this finally work? If any error occurs here, still this finally block will executed. If any error didn't occur, still this will get executed. So finally block will always execute this one. Okay. So whatever you put inside the finally block, it will always get executed here. Okay. Any doubt what we have to discuss here?
If we write finally print C and the file is not present, then print C is still occur.
Sorry, can you repeat? Finally print C.
Yes, sir. You take a above file. That's mean app development not present. Then you take C and then print C and finally print C. What will happen then?
Okay, if file is not present here. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
sir.
do that. Any file. So this file is not present here, and you want to print C.
Then we write print C. What will happen?
Okay, so here if I execute this 23, then let's say 4. Yeah, so if I execute this one, so it will throw an error that invalid file name, but it will also use the output like this. If you want to execute some line of code, doesn't matter whether it's throw an error or not, then you have to put that inside the finally block here like that. So you can see we got this particular print C here, right? The 1.5.
So, but according to above line, C is equal to A divided by B, not run.
1.5, how this will, yeah.
How 1.5 came then?
Yes, so this is what I am saying. Let's try with different output. So this value of print C occurs what? Let's see, new file. Invalid file name, and then you can see name C is not defined, right? So you can see at this particular point we have an error, so C is not defined here. If I put this C here and then we try to execute, let's see what happens now. Yeah, now you can see this works perfectly. Here's some issue with the this notebook here, that's why it's doing like that. So here you can see yeah, so what happens at this particular line number 4, we have an error because file does not exist, right? So it will throw an error. So this print C will not get executed here, but in the finally block this print C will get executed, right? So you can see this is what happens here, 23.5, the invalid file name, and we got the required output here. Okay, previously this C equals to A divided by B was after this F here. Then it will throw some error because print C is not defined because this line didn't get executed here. So in that case, it will throw an error. You can see 23.5. You can see again we got invalid file name, but what name F is not defined here. So we got that exception also here. Okay, but here a value of C. It should not work like that. It's something wrong with the notebook here. Okay, so it will throw some error if what we saw previously. Okay,
so on line number 3, can we write it as f equal to with open?
yeah, you can also do that. You can use using a with keyword also, you can do that. Okay, so see what happens here in the, if you want to execute few lines of code, you can put inside the finally a block here. Okay, so if you see the file is not present, so it will throw an error at this line number 3. It means what? This line 4 and 5 will not get executed. So we'll go to the error what we got, file not found. It is going to print invalid file name, and at the last we are going to finally block. We are going to print C, but here C didn't get executed, so it will throw an error that C is not defined like that. Okay, so you can try running this particular code in your notebook. Okay, like that. We can use a replit also here. So this is some error in the Jupyter notebook. Okay. Okay. I hope the concept is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Don't go with this output. It will throw an error here. What we saw previously. So this is regarding the try and accept a block, and this is how we can use the finally blocks. If you want to execute few lines of code, even after error occurs, or even if the error did occurs, in that case you can go with the finally a block here, right?
So
Okay.
finally came at last, or we can use except at last?
No, finally at the last only. Okay.
Except without any statement. Why not that came at last?
Except without statement. So basically the same thing. Whatever the error we got, we can put it here. So here you can put some custom message, but if any exception occur here, you have to mention that. You can put exception here in the print statement as well. So we get that required error here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is how. Let's try to again this executed. Yeah, so you can check the code here in the different notebook. You can see there is some, it will throw an error for C as well, because C, this is didn't get executed. It means what? C is not defined here. Okay, so this is what we have discussed about the try and accept block here. Okay, now the next thing is basically what class and object here. So can anyone tell me example of what is class and object? Let me try to execute this one in this notebook here. You can see 23, then 4, invalid file name. Then again, you can see there is an error, name C is not defined. Yeah, you can see here, right? So this got executed. So because of that, it printed this one. And after that, finally block executed, print C, but we don't have a C here because this didn't get executed. So it is throwing an error. That is basically what name C is not defined. Okay. So this is how it works. Now, what about the class and what about the object? Yes, anyone? What is class here? What is object? Okay, so if you talk about the object, right? So we all are object, we can say, right? So let's say, for example, as a person, I'm object, right? So I have a name, I have an age, right? You are also a student, you are also object, right? So I can see we have 37 objects in the live session, right? And each one of is having the same attribute. That is basically we all have name, we all have age, right? So that is basically what we all are the object. But we all belong to one particular class here. Okay, we all are the persons here. Or we can see we have two classes here. One is basically a student, one is basically employee, or we can say instructor here, right? So object is basically what? Object, I can say it's an instant of a class here, right? So how we define the object, how we define the class, let's discuss that. So here you can see I'm defining a class here, simply CLASS class. You have to use this keyword, and let's say, for example, student, right? So student is basically a one class here. Okay, and this student will have some particular attribute. Let's say, for example, name, then we have age, and then we have, say, roll number here, right? Let's say initialize with the none here. Right? So we have created one class that is basically a student, okay? And we all are the object of this particular class here. So how we can create an object now here inside the class, or how we can create an object here? Let's say, for example, I'm creating S1 as an object equals to what? Now this S1 belongs to what? Student here, right? So I can simply put S1 equals to student, open bracket, that's it, right? It means what? Now S1 is basically an object belong to a class student here. This is what we have done here. If you want to use some values to this particular attribute here, in that case, now you can simply put S1 dot name equals to, let's say for example, Raj, and S1 dot age equals to, you can put 23, like that. And now if you want to print, you can do that as well. Okay, so S1 dot name here, you can see we got Raj here, or you can put S1 dot age is basically what? Raj, and 23, like that. So class is basically what we can say, like student is basically one of the class, as a person is basically one of the class, and we all are the object here. So this objects is basically belong to this particular class, and I can create multiple such object here, S1, S2, S3, like that. So I can do like this one. So we can have multiple object inside the class. So let's say for example S2, S2, S2. Here we have 28. Here we have Ramesh. Let's say for example S3, S3.
I
S3.
don't understand what is S1, S2. That is a particular student or anything else?
Yeah, so this is an object belong to this particular class student. So we can say student is basically class, and S1, S2, S3, this all are the object here. And this S1 dot name, so name of the particular student, or we can say name attribute belong to a object S1 here. That is student 1 here, we can say like that. Okay.
So this class is looking very similar to how we use dictionary.
No. Dictionary is different. Dictionary we have key value pair, and there is a curly bracket we use, right? So here we have not defined any function. It's simply a class. It's not DEF. Okay. So we have created one class, and now, so basically what we can say, class will hold all the properties, or we can say it's a template for creating all the objects. So if you talk about the students, student will have the same attribute name here. So these are the attribute we can say. So all student will have name, all student will have age, all student will have roll number, like that, right? And now by using this particular class, we are creating a objects here. So S1 is belong to class student, right? Then we are putting the values to the corresponding attribute here, like that. Okay. So class is not holding any data.
Why you
here.
take none as and name is equal to none?
So
why not empty string?
Yeah, we can do like that also. But if I just say here S1 dot roll number, because I have not given entry to a roll number, so it will give me a none as output. Okay, you can give an empty string as well here. You can see none as a output. Okay, so you can see even if I just put empty string, so that will also work. But here string, that will not be visible like that, right? Here we have a, you can see string, but that is not visible. So better we can put some none here, like that. Okay. So
Empty sets, tuples, and dictionary also we can use. Oh no.
we can initialize this to list or tuple, you are saying?
Yes, sir. Instead of none.
Yeah, we can do that. But this name, this age will take some particular value here, right? That is basically string value here. Roll number, it will take some value in like this. Okay. But
so when we are defining class, we have not defined like what is the type of name or what is the type of age. So later on, suppose when we are creating S1 and S1 dot name, I write it as 123. And maybe S1 dot age, I write ABC, some random value. So will it throw any error because then S1 and S2 the type is not matching?
No. Here you can see, we have just defined none, not any string or any integer value. If I just put here any unknown value, let's say for example unknown. Okay, spelling is basically what KNOW here. Now if I put 1, 2, 3 here, let's see what happens. Yeah, it overrides that one. So yeah, so it will get replaced. So this is basically the attributes of this particular class, and here we are creating an object, and now we are giving the value to this particular attribute which belong to the object S1 of this particular class student here, like that, right? So by default, if I just say if I didn't specify the name here, in that case, we are going to get the unknown string here like that. Okay. So that by default, it will give that particular value. But if we use some particular value to this attribute, so it will take that particular value here, you can see. Okay. So that's
we can conclude that we can take any value instead of none. It will simply replace by s1.name, s2.name, or anything else.
Yeah, but this is basically belong to this particular class here. Later on, we'll discuss. Let's say, for example, I use count here. Okay, count. So I want to count how many students are there in this particular class student here, right? So I cannot initialize this with, let's say, for example, any string here, right? I cannot do that because here what I want to increment the value of count here. Let's say, for example, s1.count equals to s1.count plus 1. In that case, it will not work. Okay. So it depends for which purpose we are using this. So best way is what? Use the none here, right? Because in suppose I want to use the count for a particular class here. So I want to increment that particular value for every object, right? In that case, that will not work. So we'll discuss that also. Okay. So as of now, just understand we have this particular class. So we just define class, then we have the class name. Let's say, for example, student, right? We can also put like this empty bracket. That will also work, I guess. Yeah, that will also work. So without bracket or with bracket also will work. This is basically a class, and now these are the objects here. Okay, but this is not the correct way of creating the class and the object here, right? So because you can see these attributes belong to what? The class student here. Now what we are doing here? We are calling this particular class. So we are creating an object s1, and now we are calling s1.age, s1.name like that. What if we have, let's say, for example, 10, 15 attribute? So for all the students, we have to do like this only. Right? So there's a lot of repetition of the work, right? So what we are going to do? We are going to create a function inside this particular class here. Okay. So let's say, for example, I will create one function. Now that function can be anything. Let's say, for example, details. Okay. So we are creating a function details. Now we'll use self. So I will come to this, what is self here, and I will put name, then I will put age, and then we have what? Roll number here. Okay. So here now we are inside this particular function. So we have to put colon, and now what we are going to do? Self means what? For which object we are calling this particular function, so that will be considered as self here. So while executing, we'll see here. So as of now, this understood. Self dot name is basically what we have equals to name, then self dot age equals to what? Age here. Whatever the age we are going to put it here, that we can put self dot roll number equals to the roll number here we have, right?
Sorry, sir. Can you please again explain the function?
Yeah. So previously what happened? We put simply name equals to none, age equals to none, roll number equals to none, right? So in that case, those variable belong to what? The class student here, right? Here we are creating an object for that particular class, but that variable owned by the class student here, not the objects here, right? Now let's see what, for example, here if I say we are creating one function, let's say for example details here. Now we are creating one function which will take this as an input. Now what is self here? Now for which object we have created by using this particular class student, that is basically self here. So if I say s1 equals to student, it means what? Now self becomes s1 here. Okay, let's see how it executes. So I have created the same thing. So instead of name equals to none, we have just have self dot name equals to none. So same thing here, s1 dot name equals to something value, s1 dot age equals to something value like that. So instead of self, we are going to use the object name here. Okay. Now,
sir, here s1 is equal to self, s1 dot name is equal to name inside function or not?
Yeah, so see how we are going to call these functions. This is how we can define the function. Now we have created one object for the for this particular class student. Now this S1 is become my object. Now S1 dot details. So we are going to call this particular function details here, right? I will give some input. Now I don't need to give self here input here because self is basically S1 only, object name here, right? Now name, age, roll number is basically what? So I can say, let's say for example, Raj, then we have 27 age, then we have roll number 21 F1. Okay, that's it. Now I don't need to put S1 dot name, S1 dot age, S1 dot roll number. No, I have just created one function inside the particular class, and now I'm calling that particular function here. So that's it. If you simply put print this S1 dot name here, let's see what happens. You can see Raj. If I see S1 dot age, you can see we got 27 here like that. So instead of writing this for every object, what we have done, we have created one function here, because this is what we need to repeat for every object, right? So what we have done, we have created a function inside the class. Now this function will be applicable to all the object which we are going to create by using this particular class here. Okay, because these are the common variable, or we can say attribute, belong to the student, right? Everyone will have name, everyone will have age, everyone will have roll number, like that. Okay.
So when
Instead of S1, can we use student?
Sorry, instead of S1 only student.
Instead of S1 dot details, can we write student dot details?
No, student is basically a class here, right?
Sir, self dot name equal to name. Sir, can we write anything else in the place of name on the right side?
No, whatever the value you are going to put here, that you have to put here, name, age, roll number.
Okay,
like
sir. Okay.
that. Okay.
So when we are giving the details like S1 dot details, and in the bracket we are giving values. Suppose I don't have like age with me at the moment, and I want to leave it blank. Then what should we do?
So see, in this case, what will happen? This Raj is basically a name. This 21 F1 will consider as an age, so it will throw an error, right? Because it requires 3 parameters as an input. So if I try to execute, it will throw an error. You can see here. Now, what you can do while creating a function, you can assign this some value here. Let's say, for example, none here. So name equals to age equals to none. So if any student don't have a name, so we can just define a default value here. Okay, we can just define a default value here like that. Okay,
this function is similar to previous use of function. There is no difference. Am I right?
Yeah, so previously we need to use this like s2.name, s2.age for every object here. But here we don't need to do like this. We just need to call this particular function and give the input. That's it, right? So if I just
no, sir, I am asking about previous use of function when we use in week 5 or 4.
Yeah, same thing. These are the same function here. Like here we have just given the default value for this particular parameter. Okay. If anything is not available, it will take none as the input here. So if I just say Raj and we don't give any input like age or roll number, let's see, even if I print age here, so that will give me a none value here, like that. Okay. So this is how.
So though we have given a default value, my question is, suppose I have now name and roll number with me, and I want to skip giving age. So how to call that function? Like how to write s1.details? Like I want to write name, I want to write no roll number, but no age.
Okay. So s1.details. So you have just name and age.
Output don't contain age.
No. So if you just keep if you just put the roll number here, so what will happen? This will be considered as an age here. Let's see here what happens. You can see this was considered as an age because at the line number, second attribute is basically what we have age. But if you don't have age, we just have the name and roll number in that case, right? So this is what you are asking.
Yes, sir. I mean, is there a way, or like as a programmer, we always have to be careful?
Yeah. So in the input, what we can do.
We can make a space and make a comma after that, I think.
No, that will take empty string as an input here, right? or if you just put here like that.
Underscore.
Or we can assign directly the roll number and put that.
Keyword argument we can give.
Yeah, so here we can put name equals to Raj like that, roll number equals to like that. Let's see.
Yeah, so then I think, yes, so now I got it.
Yeah.
We'll have to define it separate.
Yeah, and then we have roll number equals to what? Let's say, for example, 21 F1. Okay, and now let's see. Okay, here we
So
have.
one inverted comma.
Yeah, you can see Raj, and we have to split age. That's why it came none. If you want roll number, then we can put roll number here like that. Okay. Okay, so this is how this will work. So instead of writing this every time for every object, we can simply call this particular function, and that's it. Okay. And now let's say, for example, we can create multiple functions like that here. Okay, and these functions which is written inside the class, that is basically called as method. Okay, the functions which is written inside the particular class is called as basically a method, we can say. And we can call, we can write multiple functions here. Let's say, for example, we are defining a display function here, right? So let's say, for example, self. So whatever the object that we are going to create, so that will be there, and we can simply say inside the print statement, let's say, for example, name of the student, right? So I can put name of student. Then I will put comma, then I will put what? This name here, right? Name or self dot name, it's a self dot name, right? So that's it. So we don't need to. Now let's say, for example, here we have create one object and we have called the details. Now we can also call the, so instead of printing this one, we can simply call this particular function here as well. Okay, so simply we can say s1 dot display. Yeah. So you can say name of a student is basically a Raj. Okay, so you can put multiple output like this, multiple print statement like this. Name of a student is this one, name age of a student is this one, like that. Okay, so you can see the output here like this. Okay,
Is a similar thing can we do to detail also?
yeah, so
Just we
detail
do in display method. Don't define
display,
anything, only a self.
yeah, we can do that, but here details have a different purpose here. We want to take input for respective student, name, age, roll number, like that. In the case of display function, we have created this function just to print the information of a student here. That's it. Okay.
No, sir, we can define self.name in display. Can we also do this in self.name for details also?
In the details, you were talking about print statement in the details thing here.
Yes, sir.
So if you do like this, so what will happen? Even if you don't want to print this, let's see, it will get printed, right? So we don't want to do like that here. Okay, so I just want to take input by one particular function. If I want to get information about the student, I will create one more function here. Otherwise, what will happen? If I call this function and if I take the input, every time this will give me an output like that. Okay, so if you want like that, so you can also add the print function, but we'll go with the different function here to display the information of the student here. Okay. Okay, so this is how we can do. We have created one class that is basically a student. We have created different object S1, S2 and belong to this particular student here. Now, why can't we? Yes.
Or self is any keyword, or we can use any random variable instead of self.
Instead of self here, you can do any variable, I guess. Let's say, for example, S. here s dot comma. What is it? So display will not name s is not defined in display as dot name here. Yeah, you can see we can do like that, but whatever the first you are going to put, that is basically a what object name here. Okay, you can use self, you can use s here like that, but throughout the course you can use the s, but the best practice is to use self here, so that we will get to know, okay, this self belong to what, this particular object here. Okay, so self is referring to object. This is what we follow. Okay, you can use any variable, it's up to you, but we generally go with the self here. So
Sir,
self is basically this particular object, we can say. Yes.
in detail function, if we don't take a name, age, and roll number as arguments, if we want to print name s dot name, that is also working.
Yeah.
Then why you take name, age, roll number as parameters?
No. Here we are going to get the input from the user here for this particular object here, and now we are going to store in this particular attributes. Okay.
No, just like in display, you use s dot name without defining parameter name.
No. Here s dot name is what, we already have a name corresponding to this particular object here. So when I say s1 dot display, so s1 dot name will get executed. What is s1 dot name? We already have a value corresponding to that. That is basically a Raj here, right? So we executed the first function here, details. Now we have given name as an input. Now this class s, sorry, object s1 will have the name Raj. So s1 dot name is basically Raj. Even if I didn't put here display, if I simply print s1 dot name, that will give me Raj here. Okay. So this s belongs to a object. So this s is basically object here. Okay. Which we have created using the class student like that.
Sorry, sir. Maybe I am not able to tell my doubt properly. Is this s1 dot name came from details function or came from s1 dot detail in below line? Where this s1 dot name came?
So here, see, we have defined one class. Inside class, we have two functions, right? So what we have done using the class, we have created one object. Now we have called this particular function here, right? Now s1 dot details. Now whatever the s here is basically s1 now. Now we have given the input to this particular function. Name is basically Raj, roll number like that. Now you can see this got updated in the object here. Now if you put s1 dot name is basically what, Raj. S1 dot age, we don't have any input, that is basically none. Then we have S1 dot roll number, is basically 21 F1 here, right? Like that. So instead of, why we are using this display function, instead of calling the print statement like this, simply print S1 dot name, we just want to create one function to get the information of the student here. You can see. Okay, you can see Raj like that. So instead of writing the print statement multiple times, we are calling one particular function display, which will take s1, that is basically object that we have created. We are referring to s here. So whatever you are going to refer to the particular object as or self, so that particular object dot, then we have the attribute name here. Okay, you can see we are going to follow same thing here. So instead of calling, instead of writing the print function, I have just defined a display function here. That's it. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So here you can see instead of just one print, I can have multiple things here as well. So I can also print the name, age of a student like that. Okay. So age of student is basically what, or we can simply put age. So age is basically what? You can say 20. Sorry, s dot age here. That's it. Now if I put a display here, so see now both print statement will get executed here. So age is basically none here. So instead of writing the multiple print statement for all the objects here, right? So it's like that. If I want information of you, right? So I need to write the s1 basically dot name, s1 dot age, But if I just put a function here, display, so I can get all the information about you. Let's say, for example, age, then roll number, like that, just calling one particular function here. Okay. And why we have created this display function here? So here we are just referring to an attribute which belong to this particular S1 object. We can also include the attribute here. Let's say, for example, I am adding one variable name which belong to the class student. Let's say, for example, college name is basically what? IIT Madras. Okay, so we are calling college name is basically IIT Madras here. Now this college equals to IIT Madras is for all the students of this particular class here. Now here, if I simply say print college, if I simply say print, then college here, that's it. Now every time we are going to call this display function, is going to print the college name. That is basically IIT Madras. You can see what happened in display. Name college is not defined. Define the college name, right? Okay, yes. Okay, here college is basically what? Simply one variable. But here this variable belongs to a class student, right? So I need to specify here student dot college. Okay, so this college belongs to this particular class student here. This is what it is. Now if I see here, you can see college name is basically IIT Madras. Now inside a display function, you can also use some attribute which belong to a class student, because we all share some common property, that is basically college is basically IIT Madras only, but we all have different name, age, roll number, but college remains the same, right? So you can define one variable outside the function, or we can say inside this particular class student, and then in the display function I can use that particular information here, right? Like that. Otherwise, if I want to put get a college name for the S1 here, in that case I have to define print student.college, right? So instead of just calling that function, because we don't know, right, that S1 belong to which college here, so basically we are putting that inside this particular display function here, like that. So this belong to a class student here. And what are the object you are going to create here, S1, S4, S10, the college name will be the same here, like that. We don't need to specify anywhere inside this particular object, I think here. Is this example here? Why
what will happen if roll numbers 21 F1, then college also something else, then it will return what?
No, the college is not defined for this particular object here, right? Colleges belong to a student. So if you want to replace that, so this is what you are saying, right? If I want to replace, so in the case of details, you can see details will take only this as input. We don't have argument for the college here in the details function here. Okay, this will take only this name, age, and roll number as an input here in details function.
But we define argument college inside details, then take college inside S1 dot details.
So then we can do that's a different requirement. Here we are saying all students belong to same college. But if you also take college as an input here, so we can also have a student from different college here, right?
Yeah, then what will happen to college is equal to IITM?
Okay, so then that particular college name will get in the output, whatever you define here. Okay, this college, let's say for example, none here. Okay, now if you take, let's say for example, college equals to any random college, IITM only instead of Madras. Now let's see here. So S dot what happened, bracket comma is missing. Define details. College is equals to none. Okay, colon is missing here, sorry. Yeah, so you can see now the college name is what here, IIT Madras, because we have printed that thing here. So we don't want to print. If I just put S dot college here, so in that case, let's see what happens.
S1 dot college.
No, S here. S belong to what? That particular object here, right? We'll verify this one here is working or not. Yeah, you can see in the display function we have s dot college, so that particular thing, right? So this college is basically what it's taking IIT Madras only. So if I print here s1 dot college, you can see what it's taking, this class attribute name only, right? So this college belong to this college belong to this class student here, right? Like that. Okay, so see, this is what we can do. This is how we can define the function inside the class, and then we can create the object. Okay, but what we are doing here, we are creating an object and then we are again calling the functions like that. Why not we give this information directly to the function here, student, right? Instead of just calling the function again. While creating the object only, we want to give the name, roll number, and this age here, because this is same for every student, right? In that case, what to do? Yes, anyone?
Can you please repeat again?
So for every object, we have called this details function here, right? So can we do, while creation of objects only, we will take this as an input instead of calling a function again, because anyway, every object will have this name, age, and roll number, right? So what we want, whenever we create a function or object here, we want this to be get executed here. So for that purpose only, we have something called constructor. So that is basically double underscore init double underscore. Now what is this? It's a special type of function here. Init, we can say it's a constructor. So it automatically call when we create any particular object for this particular class here. So now I don't need to use this details function here, right? I can simply use this here inside the bracket. That's it. I can skip this particular part here. Okay. So now if you see here, we got this particular thing in the output. Okay. You can see name of student is Raj, roll number, age is none, roll number, because we have done like that. Okay. We have not put the roll
Can you
number.
please show the previous thing again?
Yeah.
And
so
for comparison.
Let me. So previously what we have done, we have created one function here like that. Okay, details, and then we are calling the function for every objects, right? If I want to give name, roll number, and college name and age to this particular object, I need to call this details function here, right? Every time. Same here, if I want to give any information to any new object, let's say for example, I create S10 here, right? So S10 equals to student, first I have to create, okay, then I have to put, okay, then S10 dot details, I have to call that particular function and then give the name as a input, roll number as a input, like that, right? But instead of calling this particular details function, why can't we put the information inside the student itself, right? So here I want to put like this, name equals to, or instead of giving name, simply all the three attributes we are going to give. Let's say for example, Piyush, then we have 36, then we have any roll number 21, F4, or then we have college name. Anyway, college name will be that only, right? Now here you can see, instead of calling a function for every object, I just want, while creating a object, we can give the input like this. Okay, what does this mean? Whenever we are creating an object, so that particular function should get executed here, right? So this is different. We are not saying it's defined student and in bracket if you put like that. No, we are not doing like this. We are not doing like this. Okay.
So sir, just by changing the name of the function to init, how you have written, we are saving a line of code and some little more headache, and we can just simply write inside when we initialize the class.
Yeah. So if you want to execute for every object, whenever we create some particular object, you want to give some input to that particular object. In that case, what we can do, we can go for a constructor here. init function what we have discussed, right? So here, what is happening here, even if I just simply get s10.student, right? So if I just create like this, because we are using a details function here, so s10 is getting created, but we don't have any name, any age, any roll number here, right? But what we want while creation of s10 only, I want to use some input here. Name is basically this one, age this one, like that. So for that, what we want, while creation of this particular object, our function should get executed here. That is what constructor is. It is used to construct the object here. Okay. So here, instead of defining s1.details like that, what we'll do, let me copy paste in new cell here. Instead of details, we are going to create what? Constructor, double underscore init double underscore. If you define the function like this inside the class student, so whenever you are going to create the object, automatically this will get executed. You don't need to call this function. Okay. And the parameters you can put inside this particular class only, student only. Let's say, for example, I can put s10 is basically Ramesh, and age is what, 22, then roll number is basically 21, 3F, anything. Then we have a college, that is basically IITM, we can say. Now if I print, or we can say just simply s10.display here, because we can use a display function here, because we already printing name and college name. Details function, what happens? Yeah, here it is not defined, so let me remove that. Yeah, so you can see name of a student Ramesh, then age 22, then we have IIT Madras. So name is basically from the student by default, it is going to take this one only. Okay, so we can remove this from here as well. So we don't need to call the function again for every object which we are going to create here. Simply by creation of object, we want to use parameters input, that's it. Okay. So what this init function will happen? Automatically it will get executed here when we create an object here, like that. Okay.
Simply, sir, I understand that we don't want to call function again. That's why we use init.
Yes. So for every, like if I want to create 10 such object, right? So for every object, I need to call this particular function and you name, age, like that. Because for every student, this is the same. All the attributes like name, age, roll number will be there, right? So we know that for all the object belong to this particular class, these are the few attributes will be there. So why can't we put inside this particular init function? So automatically this function will get executed and we can use this as an input here. Okay.
If we need to define s10 IITM, as it is not taking it, it is simply taking college is equal to.
Yes, because this college attribute belong to a class student and all these objects belong to that particular class student here, right? Like that. So here college attribute is basically belong to class students. All the objects will belong to the same attribute here. That is basically a college. That's it.
Okay. If 22 is not present also in s10, then
yeah,
what
so
will happen?
It will take none value as a default, right? So we have to put like that. So name equals to Ramesh, then roll number equals to this one, and none will be the age here. Age will be by default here, like that.
So why age is equal to none? Why not roll number?
No, you only said na, that age will not present. Then what will happen? Then age will be none here.
No, right? No, sir. 22 remove simply.
Okay, in that case, it will throw an error because this will be considered as an age in that case. It will not throw an error, but this Ramesh and this age will be there and we don't have any input for the roll number, right? So if you see
roll
here,
number is equal to none.
No, you can see here, this what happens here. So this is what taking as a age here. Okay. Like that. And if I put roll number, then that will, okay, let me print it here. If I put, because we are not printing the roll number here. So if I put roll number, that is basically s dot roll underscore number here. Now let's see. You can see that is basically a none here, right? Let me remove this print college name also. You can see roll number none here like that. So basically you have to put name equals to Ramesh, then age, roll number equals to this one, and then age equals to, even if you don't specify age, then that will be a none here like that. Okay, so that will be like this. And then here we have roll number. Same, it will work as same similar to a function like what we have discussed. You can see now age is basically a none. Okay.
Sir,
Now,
if we write the name in the front of Ramesh, it will automatically take Ramesh in the name column.
yeah, if you don't specify the attribute name, so in this order only it will take the values. First name, then age, then roll number. You can also do like that. Roll number equals to this one, then name you can put here. That is fine. This is what you can do. You can see here like that, right? But if you don't specify the attribute name, then in this particular order only it will take the input. Okay. So I hope you understand the function working of this init constructor here. So whenever we are creating an object, so automatically it will call that particular function. It will execute this function, and this will be taken as an input here. You can see. This is what we have done. Okay. Anyone, any doubt here about the object, a class? Then we have constructor, and these are the methods we can say. The functions or method basically same thing, but whenever the function defined inside the class, that is basically a method here. Okay.
Now we cannot call them as function.
No, we can say it is a function only. But what is method? Method is basically we are defining that function inside the particular class. That is what the method is.
Sir, when we put s1 dot display right next to the line s10 dot display, then what will happen?
Yeah, both will get printed here.
Sir, both will return their value or their value get exchanged?
No, S1 is different object. S10
No,
is
sir.
different object.
S1 dot 10 and next to the line.
Next line here.
Yes,
S1
sir.
like this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, first it will print S10, then it will print S1. First it will print Suresh, then none. You can see, right? Whatever the
Okay, sir.
order you are
Okay, sir.
going
Thank
to
you, sir.
print here. Okay.
Sir, we need to use S1 is equal to student empty, or no need to use that.
No, for this we are dealing with details here, but okay, good question. So even if we go with the init operator here, and if I specify this empty, right? So then in that case, what will happen? Because this will automatically execute this function. In the previous case, we have to call the function details, right? Then only because we can give the input. Otherwise, it will not throw an error here in this case. But here, what will happen? Whenever we are creating an object, it will get executed here. So it should throw some error. Let's see. You can see none. So all the values will be none here because by default, if I didn't put any none, then it will throw some particular error here. You can see. But anyway, we have already provided default value, so that will be in the output. You can see none here.
What is the name of error in above case?
Here parameters, something you can see missing required. Wait a minute.
No, sir. In above case,
argument is missing.
Where
right?
you define function name instead of init.
In the above case.
Sir, the above code.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, details.
No, here it will not give any error because here we need to call the details function here. Automatically, it will not get execute any function because we don't have init function here. Okay. So when you define this like this, define, then you use this double underscore init double underscore. So this will get executed automatically. Only this function, not this one. Okay. For this, we have to call the function here display. But this will get executed automatically. That's how init function will do. Okay.
Can we not use init again?
No, if you again
display also work without explaining.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Can we don't use init in place of display so that this will also run without our?
No. You can put this bit inside the init statement here. Okay. Can you create a two function with the same name?
No, sir.
Right. So you can see here, if you want to print, then you can simply put here inside the init function like that. Okay, this regarding the class, then we have object, right? And yeah, so this is basically a method we can say. Okay, anyone, any doubt what we have discussed here?
Sir, a simple thing, the college in the second line and the S1, both are considered as object.
College in the second line, this one.
Yes, sir.
No, this is basically an attribute belong to the class student. It's an attribute name here. Attribute we can say variable belong to a class student. This is basically a object belong to a class student here. Okay. So when we create object, we can always define that particular name equals to the class. So this object belong to this particular class like that.
Sir, if we in this code S1 is equal to student and we remove all other thing below this, then nothing will return. Am I right?
Here, so all they will be none value. So okay, here we just have details function. In this case, no output will be there. You can see, or here we are displaying that, right? So if I remove this one, now you can see. Okay, here we have put this none here. Okay, now you can see no output will be there unless we call the function display here. Okay, because all the default value for all these three variables in the case of init will be none. But in the case of display here, you need to call that particular. In the case of details here, you need to call the function. It automatically will get executed. That's the thing. But here, if you observe
Sir,
here,
second function also not showing anything to me.
No.
Why not
Anyway,
none?
No, if you print here, then it only will show the values, right? If you call the display function s1.display, or you can put s10 dot name like that, that will be a none value here, right? You can see all the things are none here. Okay. So we are calling the display function to print the values here. We are defining the init function to take the value for the particular attributes here. Okay, this is what we are saying.
Can you please paste these two codes in chat?
Yeah, I will share the notebook after the session. Okay. Okay, so this is basically you can try it out. You can experiment here. Okay. So here we have discussed about one particular class here. Okay, student, right? So what we have observed, few particular object will have same properties like name, age, roll number. So in that case, we have created our init function, and then we are automatically executing this function like that, constructor basically. Now, what if we call one more? What if we create one more class here? Let's say, for example, employee here. So I am creating employee now. College, same thing, name, age, but instead of roll number, that will be what? Employee ID here. Okay. Then here also employee ID here. This will be what? Employee underscore ID. So here instead of roll number.
Is anything like nested class?
Nested?
Class.
No, nested class. Nothing.
Class in class.
No. Class inside class. No, I guess. Yeah. So we'll see. Like if you want to get some property of this particular class, here what should be? It should be employee ID, right? So employee.id. So employee ID, everywhere. Yeah. So see, this is belong to a class student. We have a class employee. The only difference is what? In the case of roll number, instead of roll number, we have employee ID for employees, and for student, we have roll number. That's it, right? Here, name of the employee, we can say, instead of student. Right? So in a similar manner, I can create S1, so I can create E1 as well. That is basically employee, right? Like that. So I can give a name, let's say, for example, then we have age 34, then we have employee ID as E12 like that. Okay. And now if I call E1.display, so I'm going to get the employee information. If I call S1.display, I'm going to get the information of the student here. So what we have done, we have created two class, different class, student and employee, and S1 belongs to a student object, right? And here E1 object belongs to a class employee here. Okay, is this clear what we have done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you observe in both the things, right? If you observe in student as well as employee, what is common? Name, age, roll number. Name and age is common, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if name and age is common here, can't we put inside one particular class, or what to do in such cases, right? Because every time when I create this particular student and this employee, right? So name and age will be the same, because anyway employee and student is belong to some class. We can say person, for example, and every person will have name and age, right?
Yes, sir.
So can we create one person class and then take the properties of that class inside the class employee or student? Let's see how we can do that. Okay. Do you know the property concept of inheritance? Anyone has gone to inheritance?
What is that?
Okay.
Yes, sir. When we call the parent class into the child class, that is called inheritance.
Yeah. So if I want to get some properties of parent class into a different class here, okay. So let's say, for example, we'll call this as one class as parent class, and we have some things defined here, and then we have one more class. Let's say, for example, child class here. Okay. Now, few basic properties that is same for both parent and child. Okay. If you want to take that, so what we can do, we have to define this child belong to this particular parent class here. So what we can do, inside the bracket, we can put parent class like this. Okay. Now, what I am saying, if you observe this employee and student, name and age is same, right? Attribute name and age is same. So every time I need to write this one, I need to write this one, I need to write this one, like this, right? Or else, if I want to create student, employee, then we have, let's say, for example, non-teaching staff, professors, instructors. We are creating different class for every for every object, and each class is having different properties. But if you observe, this name and age will remain same. That is basically, we can say, parent class here. Okay. Now, how we can convert this example to inheritance here? Let's see, because student and employee will belong to one particular parent class. That is basically what person here we can say. Okay. So what to do here? Let me copy paste in the next set here. Okay, so here now what we are doing, we are creating new class here. Class is basically a person. So we are creating a person class, right? And now person will have two things, that is basically name and age here, right? And now again, same thing will define the init function, because whenever we want to call the person class, we want to execute this init function. So again, we'll define the init function like this, double underscore, init double underscore, and then what? Here we'll take self, or we can take s if you are dealing with s. So any name, let's go with self, then only name and age. That's it. Because this name and age will be common for student as well as employee here, right? And then we can also take the input here. So self dot name will be name, then we have self dot, same thing like how we have created this particular class. Similar, we are creating one more class here. That's it. Age here, right? And again, I want to display that as well. So here, instead of name of student, I will simply put self, and here we are saying what? Print here. Okay, so we can say name equals to this particular as self dot name here, then print age equals to self dot age here, right? This is what we are saying. So what we have done, we have just created one more class here, person. That's it, right? We have created one class person having the two functions here. One is basically a constructor, which will automatically execute it, which will take name and age as the input. And then we have created one more function display, so that will display name and age like that. Okay. Now, if you observe the student and this employee, both are having this name and roll number as name and age as a common belong to this particular person. So what we can do, while creation of the student, we can put in bracket that is basically person here. Now what happens here? Now this particular student will get the property of this particular class person here. Whatever we have defined here, so all the properties will be applicable to student class as well. This is what we can say here, right? Okay, so if you observe, we have init function as well here. Same thing. Now, instead of taking this two as an input, because we already want input from the person class here, what we need to do? We can remove this and we have to use something called super here. Okay. So remember, we use super to get the properties from this person, that is inheritance here, right? It is basically what? Then again, this init function here, okay, like this. And now we can take name and age from this particular class here, person here. Then roll number will be as it is. Same thing we have to do for employee. We can remove this one. Employee.
Sir, how we know that super is for person, not some
No.
anything else?
Whenever you want to get the properties from the parent class, so we use the super function, then dot, and we use init, and then name and age from this particular class here. We want name and age, right? So super means what? Parent class here, we can say. Okay. So from parent class, which we have defined it here. So from this particular class, we are going to take name and age here, like that. Okay.
We can also write name is equal to none and age is equal to none here.
No, we can do that. But instead of that, we want to, because anyway, see, student and employee will have the same properties, right? So instead of writing the name and age multiple times, so let's say, for example, we have 10, 15 different class, student, employee, non-teaching staff, teaching staff, instructors, right? All those things. In all the classes, name and age will be common because all are the persons. So instead of writing this role, this name and age every time in every class, what we are doing? We are defining one particular class that is basically a person, right? So in that, it will take name and age as the input. And now all are basically a child of that particular person class here. It will take a property of that particular person class. So here we are just defined two variables. But if you look at the examples application, we can have a lot more properties and then we can use that particular in different classes here. So this super function is basically what? It will tell the interpreter that we have to refer to what? Parent class here, and from parent class we have to take name and age here. Same thing I can do it for employee as well. So you can see, but in the case of employee, also we have to specify this belong to a person here, like that. Okay. Now see. Okay, what will happen now if I simply run this code, because I guess we have done this inside, we have removed this, we have removed this. Okay, so let's see, let's try to print the output. Here we have name is not defined inside the student table here. Okay, here we have taken as a done. So here also, okay, here we have not specified default value, that's why. So let's specify a default value as, or we can simply say any name. Let's say, for example, Ramesh, and then we have age is basically 24, and let's say, for example, roll number we can give none, or anyway 21 F4, like that. Okay, so if I execute this one, so what is name is not defined here. Name age here, this name, okay, here it should be a capital and name small name. So let me do one thing. We'll create this in the same thing here. So that will be easier. So I guess this is.
Sir, age also. You have to use small.
Age here also will do, because here age is in the lower case. Okay. So now let's see what happens. Here name is still not defined. Here we are calling the person, then person class we have created. In it, name and age is there.
In display, sir.
Yes, can you repeat?
In display, in student class, we have to change the attribute.
Here also, and here also.
For age also.
In display also, employee object has no age attribute. Employee age is not there. None. Yeah, sorry.
Sir,
age
S
also.
dot small.
Yes.
In student.
Correct. So you can see here we got successfully. So instead of writing attribute name for every different class, what we have done, we have created one different class, that is person, and we are taking a property of this particular class to this class. It's inheritance thing, we can say, parent to child. So this is basically a parent class, and this all are basically a child class, you can see. Okay.
Sir, what happen if we take P1 is equal to person, Ramesh 24, and then employee ID and roll number also. Roll number is equal to something and employee ID is equal to something. Then what will it return?
So we are saying P1 is basically a class of a person here. Let's say, for example, person, right? So we just have what is the input? Name and age, right? So here we can see any name we can give Ravi. Age 34, right? Do we have a display function in person? Yes, we have defined display function. So I will do p1 dot display here. Okay. So you can see that will get output same as the class. Okay, so it will work similar to class only. But if you want to take some property of this class to other class here, that is what inheritance properties, then you can define like that. Okay.
Sir, I want to give some inputs that contain or4 and specify person take name and age, student take 3 of them, that roll number, and employee take employee ID. How we can do that?
Sorry, employee can take employee ID.
If some person have all 4, means working professional and a student also. We want student class take roll number and employee ID can take employee ID. How we can do that?
Okay.
So that it return all 3 classes with their used things.
Okay, so it means the person belong to all 3 classes here.
Yes, sir. How to give input of that type?
Okay.
I think but only changing the class 3 times. S1 is equal to student. S1
No. I want to give only one input, and it will simply take and return what we want.
No, see, basically name and age is same here. We just want IDs there, right? So
Yes,
either
sir.
you can define in the person itself, okay? But for 3 different class, I'm not sure we can do that. We can create 3 different class like that. So P1, S1, sorry, P1, S1, E1 like that, but the same input, that is fine.
Sir, but someone can give only one thing. That is Ravi 34, employee ID E1, E12, and then roll number that is maybe 12.
No, here
How
it
we
is.
can segregate
No,
them and combine?
from this particular output here. If I remove this one, now you can see only Ravi and 34 will be there in the output. Okay. So I guess again it's executing. Yeah, we need to display p1 dot display here. Yeah, you can see. Okay. So previously it was e1 dot display like that. If you want to make here like that, also you can do e1 equals to employee, then same name and it will take employee ID.
Sir, I want to ask, if we take E1 is equal to employee, that is line same, and we remove the j in between two lines and simply P1 dot display, will it work or not?
No, you have to define this particular P1 first, belong to person class or any class here. Then only display function will work, right? Because you have defined this display function inside this particular class, right? So you have to create the object and then only that particular function will work.
Yes.
Okay, so this is regarding the class. This is class. Then by using the class, we can create the object. So this is, you can see S1, E1, all are the object. This is basically a constructor. Constructor is basically what? Whenever we are creating an object, automatically that function will get executed. That is what a constructor is. And all the function which we define inside a particular class, that is basically a method. Okay. And this is, I hope this is clear. What is class, object, then methods, right? Constructor. And now about inheritance, so you can see here. So if we know, okay, this name and age will be common to all the different classes. So what we can do, we can create one more class, that is person, and then we can use this person class properties like this using a super function here. Okay, so this is how this inheritance property will work. Inheritance. Okay, so there are different other properties as well. So that is not covered in the lecture, I guess. Only inheritance is there. That's it. Okay. So yeah. So that's it from my side. If you have any question, you can ask now.
Sir,
We have
can you
covered
please
almost.
take an example from my side? If we have a common data such as workable professionals and we want to separate them according to companies, how we will separate them in different classes according to company names?
So you are saying we have a same class, and in that class we have different company name employees.
Sir, parent class is workable professionals, and then we want to take child classes as their company names.
Parent class is working professional, and child class is a company name. That
in which they are working.
No, it should share some particular same properties here, right? So if you say parent class is basically
Their name is commonly shared.
yeah, so in that case you can name and age will be same. So again same thing here. Instead of person, that will be a working employee. Instead of student, and we can create a company class also here. Okay.
Yes, sir. I want to take output from this. I understand the code part, but some will give a data and we use this code. How will it return?
So,
We
sorry,
have to
I'm not
simply
getting.
use classes, or we can do it aggregately somehow.
Yeah, we can do that. But sorry, I'm not getting your entire question. You want a working professional as well as company in a single output, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir, if we extract the property of student in the employee class, then we can access the person class property in the employee or not?
Person class property we can access in the employee, because person is a parent table we are considering. So whatever you put inside the bracket, that is basically a parent table, and the properties of this particular class will be applicable to employee class as well.
But sir, only property, not values.
No, only properties here, not the values.
Okay, sir.
Sir, if we put in the employee on in the place of person, does it inherits the properties of the person?
No, you are saying here. Sorry, where it is? Here in the employee here, like that.
Sir, I'm saying that there is a person class. We are putting person in the student class to inherit its property.
Sorry.
But if we put in employee class, that is directly put in employee that student in a place of person, does it?
No. Yeah. So if you put student here instead of person, so what this will mean? It means that student is basically a parent class, and employee will take the properties of this class student here, like that.
Will they also take the values?
No, here we have to just define name and age. If you want roll number, it will take the roll number also if you do that. Okay. But here, what we are taking from this particular parent class, we are just taking name and age attribute here. Yes.
No, sir. If we only define student class, will this student class, which is a parent class of employee, will it also take values of such as Ramesh and 24 also include in employee?
No. Values will not take. We can define the properties here. Yeah. Okay. So, like whatever we have discussed, this is enough for this particular week. We will discuss OOPS concept in lot more detail in Java course. In diploma level, you have Java course. So in that we have entire OOPS concept in detail, in lot more detail. Okay. But using Java we have. In Python, we just discuss this particular case. That's it.
Sir, what you explain is understanding by me, but not how to do more complicated from these concepts.
Yeah, that's it. If you understand the basic of class, object, what is constructor, right? What is method and how it works, what is inheritance property, that's it. Okay. If you look at the Java course, we have a lot more in detail about OOPS concept here. Okay. So this will help you in Java course as well. If you understand what is class, what is object, that's it. How you define that. But in Java, we have a entire 2-3 weeks just based on the OOPS concept here. Okay. So for the course, we just have this exception handling in introduction to OOPS concept. That's it. Okay.
Sir, Antrim contain only week 10 or week 11, 12 also?
In week 12, we don't have any content, I guess. So week 11 will be there in Antrim. You can see week 11 is just introduction to NumPy library. Yeah, you can expect few questions from this one, NumPy and Pandas.
But they give a
Sorry, can you repeat?
In the document for the syllabus that they gave, only 1 to 10 for Python.
1 to 10 only? Okay. In grading document, if it is mentioned, then 1 to 10 only. Grading document.
Please share the document link?
Yeah, you can check your portal, and if you look at, it will be there in the grading policy here. Okay, this is basically a previous term. So you can check your portal here in the grading policy. Yeah, just a second. So for the OP2, till week 8 only we have. This will not be in the OP, this OOPS concept. Okay, so.
Sir.
Yeah, course
introduction. Sir, I do have some strange problem.
Yes.
Yesterday, when the grading for the week 9 happened, day before yesterday, I submitted my GA and everything. But my GA now shows that I have not submitted it, though I tried re-logging in and I resubmitted, and it showed me the pop-up of submission. But now it is showing that I have not submitted my GA. So it has wiped everything, and none of my answers are saved. And now this is going to
if you look at the
sir, initially that's happened to me also.
Okay.
I explained to TA, but no reply given to me. I have to do them 2 or 3 times.
On Discourse posted, and there is another student that same happened to him as well. So, and I'm trying to reach out to support, and they are saying that you need to provide the proof of the submission. How will I provide this proof of submission? You can see my dashboard. I have not missed a single.
Yeah. So you can see here. Yeah, in the assignment section, you can see at what time you have submitted. That will be mentioned here, right?
I understand, sir, but this is only happened for the GA, not for everything I submitted, and these classes are passed, and this happened only for GA 9.
Okay, for other students, the same issue is there, or what?
Some happens to me also. For maybe we have to take a screenshot after submitting.
No.
For proof.
For week 9 only?
Yes, sir. I have to do 2 times then
Okay.
we.
Yeah, I
Okay, I
did
will check
two
with the
times
team.
and I saw the submission pop up, and now it is showing that I have not submitted. Ultimately, this portal issue is going to affect me, right? Because I submitted in time and I did everything that I needed to do, and I don't know, it
Okay.
has happened with other students as well in
Okay.
previous
Okay.
weeks.
So just do one thing. You can send email to support team and put me in CC. Okay. You can check my email ID. I'm just writing it down in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. You can just put me in CC. I will look after that.
Okay, sir. Thank
You
you.
can also put the screenshot that you have submitted at this particular time, but here it's showing not submitted. Okay.
Sir, how will I provide the screenshot of like I did not know that this is going to happen in future and my submission is not going to be available in the portal. I did not take any screenshot. I have the screenshot what I see right now. If I knew earlier that this
Okay.
is going to happen, of
No,
course I
no.
would
If
have
you look
taken
at,
the screenshot.
no, can you see my screen? If you look at, there will be something
I'm
guideline.
seeing the same right now because my
Okay.
submission is not showing the green stamp date. That is the problem.
Okay.
It has wiped out
Yeah.
everything.
Okay. Yeah. We'll check with the team. Okay. No worries. You just send me email. I will check with the team.
So could you share the codes with us? Jupyter
Yeah.
Notebook?
I will add in the calendar. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
that's great, sir.
Sir, please allow also.
yeah. I will
Sometime
give the
we not
access.
able to access.
Just a second.
Sir, week 8 PPA 3 doubts, sir.
We get PPA 3. Just a second. Yeah.
Sir, I am sending my code. These are passing 4 private test cases out of 5, but one private test case doesn't pass. What's the problem in this?
Can you share your code?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So till then, I will add the notebook in the calendar. Just a second.
Which PPA? PPA 5?
PPA 3.
Week 8 PPA 3, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so I have added the notebook in the calendar. Just check. Yes. Okay, this is the function. Just a second. Okay. Week 8 practice assignment. Just a second.
Sir, can't see the file.
Just check the calendar. Today's calendar. You can see at the last. You can see a Google Drive symbol there, right?
GRPA solutions.
Sir, they are GRPA solutions.
No, below that we have a Google Drive symbol. Just before September 2025 Python, that thing. I'm sharing.
Sorry, sir,
No,
can't
sir.
see it.
Okay, so you can see here week 10 session, this PDF, not PDF, this file. Once you click here, you can find out at the task. You can scroll down this one. Google
Sir,
Drive.
we have to refresh maybe.
Yeah, you can refresh here. So week 8, question number 3, PPA 3. The question is this one, the function name getMax. Okay, this is the question, right? GetMax F1. Let me copy this. Yeah. So here we have function accept the line name as a argument. Each line in this file contains integer. Okay. the function should return the line number that houses the maximum integer in the file. Okay, if multiple lines have same
Yes.
maximum number, it is smaller of the two. If multiple lines have same maximum, it is the smaller of the two. Line numbers start from not 1 to 1. Okay, not from 0. So file name is variable. What is this one? File name. Then we open the file name. Of course, not have input from the console. The file input. Okay, so here you're opening the file. You are reading the lines, and maximum is basically a what? Integer max of L here. Okay, so let's do a test run. For I in range of L, for every and what you are adding. Okay, this is both private test cases are passed. Sorry, public test case is passed. Private test case is not passing. Is it so? Let's see. 4 out of 5 test cases are passed.
So maybe it leaves the case when there is no maximum number. Means all are 0, 0 same.
Maximum is 0 then.
Maximum of this one. Okay.
Empty file.
For I in range, this is correct only. I written I plus 1. Yeah. This code value no file 1.
Sir, this is a bit longer, sir. I have another one which is 2 lines longer, which is fully correct. 5 out of 5. But I'm confused. What is the problem in this code?
Okay, can you share that code also?
Okay, sir. Okay.
So here you have to see which case is not getting satisfied.
I send it, sir.
Read the lines, then you have done the first thing. Okay, here you have done the first. You're comparing with the first one. Let's compare with the code. So here what you have done, you have opened the file, read the lines. Now here is basically what? Start with the first element here, and then you are comparing with if this is maximum, then you are storing that in C. Okay, then n equals to I, you are printing n plus 1. Okay. So in this case, if we have multiple maximum value in different lines, so in that case this will work or not. So
Sir,
in the
what
question it
will
is
max
mentioned
return
that
in case of same values?
if multiple lines have same maximum number, return the smaller of the two. The first line, whichever is there, that we have to return, right?
Yes, sir. In the for loop, sir,
This will not be possible, right? That thing will not be possible, right? If I so anyway, this is basically a list here, right? List of the
Yes, sir.
numbers, right? So you can try that. If let's say, for example, we have 4 lines, so 1, 2, 2, then we have again 0 like that. This will take line number 3, okay, maximum, okay. So we are trying to match with all the cases here. For I in range of L, if this is equals to maximum, return I plus 1. This is going to return the last one here, not the smaller one. Next one here is going to get returned. But here, if you just compare this one, it will satisfy with the first one only, and then that will be there in the output, I guess. So maximum will be, yeah, because this will not be true for the line number 3 if line number 2nd and 3 is having the same thing, right? If we have 3 elements, let's say for example 2nd and 3rd element, if satisfying for 2nd and element, so that element will not be greater than the 3rd element because both are the same element here, right? In that case, that will not be true. The value of n will be the same, that is basically 2 here, not 3. But in this case, value of I will be 3 here. Are you getting what I am saying here?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that's the difference here. Yeah. So here you can see multiple lines have same exact number of, just return the smaller of the two here. So this is going to return the larger line number, not the smaller one. So that
Yes, sir.
case is missing here. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you then. Bye bye. Good night.
Excuse me, sir. Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, actually, I have like one problem regarding the dashboard. Actually,
Okay.
a dashboard of